Hello friends, my name is Annette Kim and I'm so excited to share with you our book, Eternal Return to Creative Every Day. And this book is for all the people that need creative inspiration out there, someone who wanted to be creative but don't know how to get started, or it could be a wonderful gift for someone that you could feel like adding creativity to their lives will really benefit them. And I'm so excited to share with you my thoughts as an artist and kind of showing how each section doesn't pertain to what you classify yourself as an artist. Here, let's get started. So for the intro, we have blank, your name here is Creative Every Day. Hey, that's me. So Annette, that's me, is creative every day. So here we have the introduction. Hey, that's me. And that's Cindy, and that's Cindy's younger sister Jennifer and Eric. And we actually made this book while we were in Kyoto. And this is one of our many little Kyoto labs that we did our work together in. We just enjoyed some food, coffee, and a really good Wi-Fi. And our book is broken into three sections, photography section, drawing section, and a writing section. And we actually wanted to do a couple more like video editing or music, something that kind of would have a lot of options to interest a lot of people, but it started to get a little too much for us to handle. So maybe we'll introduce those ideas in the future. And as you can see, we dedicated a lot of hours to this project and we're really all so proud of it. And, this is kind of the first haptic product that the idea drove the product rather than the product driving the idea. And we feel like this will benefit so many people. And just to get started, the mission statement perfectly describes, what our goal is in this book. Essentially, we just want people to get in touch with their creativity again. Every human being is creative, no matter what you might think of yourself, but, being creative is intrinsically a part of being human. And, we want to get people to stop being so afraid of being creative. There's so many fears that we have that, there's so many other people out there that their stuff's amazing, my stuff, just sucks, or no one wants to see this stuff. And, we just really want to encourage people to overcome those ideas of feeling that you are not good enough and that you are good enough. And to just essentially share your work also, because it will inspire so many people. Well, first of all, it'll inspire yourself that, you can overcome your fears of sharing your work that deserves to be shared. And that it'll inspire other people seeing you overcome those fears and to do it themselves. So essentially what we want you to do is to make, learn, and play. Creativity doesn't have to be a mentally draining thing. It's to essentially just kind of be a kid again and have fun and just let your mind take you where it goes. And this book, it's not a very scholarly book where there's these strict assignments and these correct or incorrect answers that you have to produce, but it's just to get your mind thinking. And a great way to start is just asking yourself questions. What kind of art do you enjoy? What speaks to you on a deeper level? Why are you scared to create art? Who do you want your art to reach? And what is your goal? It's really important to kind of set these goals for yourself, because if you don't set these goals, then you'll never reach them. So it's good to ask yourself these kind of questions initially before starting this book to get you thinking where, you might want to concentrate more, what you already know interests you, and how to overcome your fears to for even doing your work and sharing your work. And there's Cindy, she's just being creative. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the photography section. For me as an artist, that's what I drew. Photography to me wasn't really important. If you look through my gallery on my phone, all my photos are just kind of photo shoots of my dog being really cute and sleeping, and that's about it. And I never really found a need to photograph anything since my brother Eric, we already have a photographer in the family, that'll be fine. So it kind of starts you off, for me, especially not as a photographer, ask you these kind of very basic questions. Why do you take photos? What do you like photographing? What inspires you? And what are some goals? So it kind of reflects back on our initial creative reflection questions, but just pertaining to photography. And I might as well answer these questions. So why do I take photos? I take photos to capture the cuteness of my dog and for me to kind of look back on them, especially dogs. They have about like 10 years on earth with you, and I just kind of want to capture every moment that I have with her so I can look back on it. And saying that now is, I guess, a lot of people's reasons for taking photographs. They want to capture that moment in time and kind of go back on it as like a mental souvenir to kind of recreate those feelings that they had when they took that picture. And what do I like to photograph? My cute little dog. Why don't I show you guys? Oh, perfect. This is my dog, Jazz. This will be in the drawing section. And then this is my work office. Here she is, my computer, her many toys. And what inspires me for photography? Well, personally, I like seeing very beautiful landscapes, like more nature-oriented. I do love going snowboarding and just kind of taking in all the scenic views, the tall mountains, the untouched snow, the sun shining through the trees. And, I don't really have photography goals, so this question is really good for me. So maybe I should set some goals in photography to myself. So maybe I will go out and start taking more photographs of my personal life, not just of my dog. Oh, so here, this kind of gets you asking yourself, what are you drawn to, to put in a category. Personally, for me, I do like seeing some street photography stuff, especially Eric's work and all his friends. Portraitures, I find that pretty interesting too. It's kind of stopping in time of what a person is like at that current time in their life, or even just that moment. And I think a portraiture is really interesting to see. It's just one image that you really want to capture the essence of a person. Oh, and I am a sucker for nature. I think that's my favorite. So I think, this is really good to just, you might already be a street photographer and that's what you're most drawn to. But I think everybody is kind of drawn to at least a couple of these or something else, and just gets you really thinking. All right, so next is honor thy selfies. So this is kind of getting you to recognize yourself more as a person and being comfortable with yourself. Because if you are going to take pictures of other people, you should get pretty comfortable with yourself. I did hear that the most famous street photographer, I'm blanking on his name here, but anyways, he was probably the street photographer at his time, and he hated taking selfies of himself, and he was kind of a very strict person on like, these are the rules of photography, and like, it's my way or the highway. But it was kind of silly because he never wanted to take pictures of himself. He was uncomfortable with the way he looked, but demanded that people be his subjects in his photographs. Personally, for me, let's see, what exactly about your face or appearance are you not comfortable with? Personally, for me, I'm pretty comfortable with myself, but I don't take a lot of selfies because I feel like I don't really need to. So maybe if this is more for people that, are shy of taking other people, and this is really getting you to be comfortable shooting yourself, which will then give you the confidence to shoot strangers on the street or wherever it is. Let's see. Okay, so here's a fun little assignment, kind of just shooting all these different things. So maybe if you spot some things out that especially interest you, you could start with those first. Like, I think for me, probably this first one, shooting colors. It's kind of it's interesting, this idea of just simplifying each photograph or whatever series you want to make into just kind of one subject, so you don't get overwhelmed by the possibility of all these things. Especially as an artist too, when I look at a blank piece of paper before I start my artwork, it's almost overwhelming. Like, oh my god, there's so many different things I can do, and like I just have this one paper or image to capture what it is I want to show the rest of the world. So it's good to start very simply. Maybe as an artist I can use this to give myself drawing assignments too, so I can draw in a place every day for a month, maybe get some inspiration outside. Or I can draw self-portraitures of myself for a week. Maybe I'll notice something about myself that I didn't know. And even for this, draw only hands or feet. I know a lot of other artists, especially beginning artists, they struggle with the anatomy of hands and feet. And the best way to get over something that, is not your strongest suit is to just continuously do it. Okay, here we have to do a photo project story. So this is kind of a really cool idea to make an album telling a story. Thinking about myself as an artist, unless it's a comic, but usually it's just, one single image to tell a story. And this idea of, kind of like a movie, but taking stills of every frame rather than having it as a continuous moving frame will really give you this creative time frame to accomplish your goal of doing your story, but just in stills. And I find when you have a kind of a set assignment, when you have constraints on your creativity, you have all these ideas that you didn't even think about or know you had in you will kind of come out through trying to work around these constraints. So for me, as like a single image artist, I'm pretty excited to do this myself. For me, 100 images is a little tricky, so I think I would like to do going out and actually taking pictures to accomplish this. And photography composition and drawing composition really works the same way. So essentially, the world is your canvas in photography, and you have to just choose one frame to, out of the entire world, which is really overwhelming, to capture and to show, especially with art also. You have this idea of your mind being the whole world that you have to choose onto just one frame. And photography and drawing composition works really similar. You have the rule of thirds where you want to break up your frame into these thirds. And the golden triangle also too. It just has a very nice, visually appeasing effect on your eyes, especially when you kind of make your compositions fall along here. Also the golden triangle, of course. And even the idea of starting with a white or black background and then adding your subjects in, it works the same with drawing also. You know, you don't want your image to be too overwhelming, and you know, sometimes the simplest way of getting your idea through is by making it simple. There's no room for confusion. Hey, that's my mom. And all these chapters kind of, the mini assignments in each chapter ends with a reflection. So it kind of gets you to, you know, well, first think about this chapter, and then to do the chapter, and then to reflect back on it. So your brain is kind of constantly working to, you know, think about who you are as a person, you know, what it is you want to do, and then how to do it, and then what you finally thought about it. What is the takeaway from all this? And let's see, I'll answer these as a visual artist. So does focusing on a composition cause me to overthink before shooting a photograph? Or does it, thinking about the composition, encourage you to shoot? So for me as an artist, focusing on the composition will kind of set my guidelines for how to finish my drawing. So I kind of want to think about the overall feeling of the shapes and the images, the colors on that single frame, and then kind of work my idea around towards it. And it's always really good to think of who are some other artists, photographers, painters, what have you, that inspire you, and how to integrate their techniques into your own so that you can inspire other people. I think every artist, they do have their, you know, person that they're initially inspired by, and then they try to, you know, you might want to say steal their techniques or their style, but there's no stealing in art. Everything comes back around. You know, those artists that you were inspired from, of course, got their inspiration from somebody else, and that person got it from somebody else. So essentially all these ideas, you know, they belong to all of humans, not just that individual. So don't feel as if, you know, you need to have your own unique individual style that, you know, is just you, but that's really not how it works. We all get our inspiration from somewhere. So it's good to, you know, if you do feel inspired by one of these painters, photographer, artists, to, you know, integrate some of that into your own work, and then that'll inspire someone else to create their own works. And here we have the drawing section, but that'll be for another day. Thank you so much for being a part of explaining creative every day, at least the photography section as an artist. And the really cool thing about this is, you know, for the photography section, all you really need is this book and a camera or your phone, whatever it is you have that honestly anyone can do. And I would love to see you guys share your works on the Annette Kim forum or whatever social media sites you use, and just kind of see the creative thought process of everybody. Love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.